Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And streaming on YouTube.
Powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. This is the Morning Sports Desk. I'm CJ Baumgartner. Corey Tackmann over on the far side of the screen, and in the middle is Staples-Motley Cardinal football play-by-play guy Tyler Grunewald joining us on the Morning Sports Desk. Tyler, it's here. It's the one that, obviously, the Barnesville game is something that we've been talking about all week, but before we get into that game, which was also huge, this is the game of all games tonight, right?
You know, when you look at the schedule, you always say, when do we play Pillager? Not where. It doesn't matter where. Just when do we see them? And do I have to wait this long into the season? And with all the anticipation of waiting this long in the season, and now to see what's on the line, I think it was well worth the wait. And the wait is going to be over here in the next couple of hours. And every week it feels like the next big game, which is good for Staples-Motley, instead of feeling like, okay, let's just get through this game and let's just get to the playoffs and then we start playing big-time football. No, big-time football started last week, 2 weeks ago, if you ask me, at DGF. And last week it was just amped up to next level. And now we go to another level, bringing Pillager into Staples-Motley. It's the game. It can't be anticipated any more than it already is, as it will be. Everybody's eyeballs will be on it throughout the state of Minnesota.
And before that game, we're going to talk about it because there's a lot. But we can't also forget the Barnesville game from a week ago. Everything we talked about leading in, Barnesville hadn't lost a home game in like 7 years until last week. Tyler, what happened?
Well, Barnesville, give them all the credit in the world. They played there, from everybody that I talked to that has watched them every week this season, they played their best football of the season, and they saved it for Staples-Motley. They had revenge on their mind after the double overtime loss in St. Cloud in the quarterfinals in state last November. They definitely had this one circled, and they saved their best, and they gave Staples-Motley everything they could try and handle, and then some. And Staples, they took all the punches and kept fighting back. They had an 8-6 deficit going into halftime off of a questionable touchdown catch by Barnesville, which if you watch some replays on the highlight film from Fargo, it was like, oh, what's that? Oh, well, I don't know. Maybe we could have reviewed that one a little bit closer. But anyways, Staples does come away with the win, but it was a hard-fought victory, and it was down to the wire, and Staples had to keep grinding out that clock. And Barnesville really tried to – you could tell what their game plan was early on, as the first half showed Barnesville with a 2-1 play lead over Staples-Motley. So they're definitely playing some keep-away ball, and their defense really gave Staples-Motley some trouble. But the Cardinals in the second half shored up some things. Colby Tappy did his Colby Tappy thing and just kept churning those legs, getting to that end zone, and stacking up 3 more touchdowns to his already impressive total on this season.
Has it been kind of an MO for Staples-Motley this year that, like, I wouldn't say they rely on the big play, but they've gotten a big play just about every single week that has been the tide turner, right? Like, I think of a couple punt returns in recent weeks, things like that. Has that been a difference maker in some of these games, you think, for the Cardinals?
Especially I would totally agree, and especially in some of these bigger games in the last 2 weeks, whether it be a kickoff return by Caden Neeson against DGF that would have had the Cardinals down going into halftime. Instead, they took the lead after halftime, and then Colby Tappy had a punt return for a touchdown, and everybody in the crowd was thinking, why are you punting to number 2? If anything, punt to anybody other than number 2. And as soon as he got into the open field, away he went, and into the end zone he trotted. But those big special teams plays is something that's really helped set Staples-Motley apart from some of these teams. But I wouldn't say they have to rely on it at any point, because they are able to have a long, sustaining drives and methodically move that ball down the field when they aren't able to pick up those big chunk plays like they do against some of the other teams.
Yeah, one of the reasons I asked that, Tyler, too, is because I'm looking at some of the, like, just basic standing or stats that are out there for both of these teams. Staples-Motley scores just over 40 points a game. Pillager scores over 33 points a game. But the most important number here is the Cardinals give up less than 14 points a game and Pillager less than 10 points a game. So I'm just wondering, like, is this going to have to be one of those games that like a punt return is the difference maker? Because these defenses are beyond stout.
I think it's going to come down to who wins the turnover battle. And that might not be a big play scoring a touchdown, but that could be a big play in either momentum or field position. And really, if you get a short field off a turnover, it's a lot easier to drive the ball 20 yards down the field to get in the end zone than it is to try and drive the ball 80 yards down the field. So I think turnovers are going to be key, holding on to the football, and also something that's really hurt Staples-Motley the most this whole season, in my opinion, has been penalties. And they've racked up almost double-digit penalties in multiple games this season, and that's definitely a concern of mine, maybe not as much as Coach Potter's, but whether you like it or not, the laundry's flying, and it's flying against the Cardinals at a rapid pace.
So getting into this game, Tyler, there's a lot of things against the Pillager Huskies. There's, the teams have gone back and forth over the years, trading wins and losses with each other, and Staples-Motley was able to get the victory against Pillager a year ago in the regular season. Now, just kind of with this rivalry, I mean, just how excited, this huge atmosphere that's going to be there. There's extra bleachers getting pulled in, a second concession stand. I mean, this has got to be the biggest game in not just AA, but this has got to be one of the biggest games in high school football in Minnesota tonight, right?
Oh, it will be the game of the night in Minnesota football. It might be the game of the season, if you ask me, for the regular season. We'll get to the playoffs when we get there, but for the regular season, you can't write a better script than what these two teams have written so far. I mean, the eye-opener for Pillager beating Barnesville at home, yeah, it was at home, but they still beat them. And then us beating that same Barnesville team, which has been such a juggernaut in the state of Minnesota for so many years. Those are eye-opening wins. And now when those two teams are about to collide to see who is probably going to become the 2 seed, you can't get any more anticipation or build any more hype. And that's why they're expecting over 1,000 people tonight at this football game. They brought in, like you said, the extra bleachers. They're going to have rope around the whole entire field. There's going to be TV. There's going to be us. We're always there. They made sure to save our spots. So that's kind of shows you how big of a game it is. The AD's like, hey, where do you guys usually sit so you guys can be in your spot? Because you're here every week. This is a big time, and not everybody is usually used to being in Staples for this type of a game. And I'm so much newer to the program. I can't even quantify how this means to a guy like Zeke, who lived through the years of losing game after year, not game after game, year after year of losing. That's how far this program has come in just 4 years under Drew Potter. When his first season, my first season calling games, they went over. They didn't win a game. They weren't even close to winning a game. And now those freshmen are now seniors. And look at the experiences and the growth that they've had, going from no wins to making it to the section championship game in the Fargo Dome, coming up short to Osakis, then getting to the state playoff last year, and then making it to the state championship game. There's only one more rung to climb, and that's got to be the goal for this team and this senior class. And to do that, I think a big key to that is winning this tonight, not this Friday, tonight. I don't have to say this Friday anymore. It's tonight. This is a huge game. Like, I need to say that anymore, but I am so excited for this, and it's going to be such a fun atmosphere. If you can make it, but bring your AM radio with you and tune it into AM1430, or if you have the FM, 98.5 FM, or I hear we're simulcast tonight on the Superstation, so 105.9 FM as well. So,
and online at WDenaradio.com or the Superstation K-106 mobile app as well.
See, I'm not the pros like you guys are. I only get to do this once a week, so I appreciate that, CJ.
Yeah, it's 6:40 pregame, 7 o'clock kickoff tonight. Tyler, too, we've talked a lot about Staples-Motley, their big playability, the things like that. I know Corey mentioned the defensive Pillager, but what about this Pillager Husky team? And talking with Coach Potter, what are the challenges that they present? Because they're 6-0, they're a good football team.
Well, I think the biggest challenge that they present is so many different looks on offense. When you look at some of the scouting reports for some of the other schools that Staples-Motley has faced, they might have 3 different play sets, and they run quite a few plays off of them, but it's not a lot of different looks. Where Pillager is going to give you a lot of different formations. You're going to have guys either in a double tight with 2 wide receivers, or everyone's going to be packed in, or you're going to have trips to one side, trips to the other. Pillager's going to show you a ton of different looks, and defensively for the Cardinals, they have to be ready to adapt to those different looks. They might be running the same play over and over again, but you're going to have a bunch of different formations that they're going to throw at you, and you're going to have to account for what's coming at you at every different time. And players are going to be pulled from out of position that they normally would play, especially when you play a team like Barnesville that is you see the same formation the whole game against Barnesville. It's tight. It's the T formation, 3 running backs, and everything's packed in. This is not going to be that kind of game. They're going to be able to throw the ball. They're going to be able to run the ball, and they have a big offensive line and defensive line that's going to be very physical and very hard. Big challenge for the Cardinals all night for sure, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I can't wait to hear those pads clacking tonight.
I got nothing to add. I can't wait. We're looking at the section standings, and I don't have the QRF model memorized by any means. It seems like Holdingford probably has that 1 seed in the section locked up, which would give them a first round bye. It seems like there's probably a big enough gap between the 3 seed and the 4 seed that there won't be any shuffling there. This game is all about who gets to host on Saturday night. These two teams are probably going to play again in about 10 days. That Saturday playoff game is probably going to be a Cardinal Husky rematch. And for a game like that, you're going to want it on your home field. There's just nothing else to say. Tyler, excited for you and Zeke to be able to call this one this evening. It's going to be one of the premier games in the state, if not the premier game in the state. And we're lucky we get to carry it. So have a blast. It's going to be just the coolest.
I'm looking forward to it immensely, like I do every game and every week, but this one's just elevated that much more and just going to give you that playoff experience. Get ready for it. It's going to be hard hitting. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Tyler Grunewald, Staples-Motley play-by-play voice for the football team, 6-0. They play the 6-0 Pillager Huskies tonight. 6:40 pregame, 7 o'clock kickoff on the Superstation K-106, 105.9 FM, streaming online at WDC.com, the Superstation K-106 mobile app, and as always, 98.5 FM and AM1430 KNSP, the Fan. Tyler, have a good call. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Tyler Grunewald, Staples-Motley play-by-play football voice. One other thing I do want to add, Corey, because this I do feel as well is relevant to talk about. I know Tyler did a lot of talking about Pillager or about Staples-Motley and all the excitement that they have, and it's all well warranted. Pillager's ready for this game too. If you go back, Corey, to August when we were doing these football season previews, and I had the opportunity to talk with Coach Clark of Pillager, and that guy loves him some football, and that guy was loving football practice, and I was there. He was really excited about his team, and I asked every coach that I interviewed in all 17 previews the same question. Is there a game you have circled on the calendar, or is every game important? And he gave the coach answer of every game's important. We got to do all the things we got to do. And then I went around, and then also to every player I interviewed in all 17 of these schools, I would ask them too, hey, any game you have circled on the calendar? Is there one team, not that you'd want to beat, but what game is like, hey, this is going to be fun. Like, I'm really excited to go against this particular opponent. And, a lot of them, most of them, pretty much all of them gave the politically correct answer of, well, every game's important. We just got to do this. But then after that, you'd have a lot of them go, but I would really like to. And Pillager did the same thing. I interviewed about 3 or 4 Pillager football players, and every one of them went, hey, every game's important. We got a big schedule this year. There's nobody we can look past. And then they would all go, but we really want to beat Staples-Motley. Like, that's like, they have Barnesville. They had DGF. They had Holly. They have some pretty good football programs on their schedule. No. We don't. I mean, they do care, but to make it dramatic, we don't care. We want to play the Staples-Motley Cardinals, and we want to beat them. And Staples-Motley feels the same way. And it's rivalry football. These two teams are at the peak of their powers, not just regionally, but in the state. It's just, you can't get any, Tyler said it, you can't get any better than this tonight.
In my estimation, the Staples-Motley Pillager rivalry is the premier rivalry in the region right now, and right now might be understating it. Like, it's just both teams when they've just been good at the same things at the exact same time over the last few years. Pillager Staples-Motley basketball, those gyms have been packed. Student sections are showing up for both teams. It doesn't matter if it's in Staples or if it's in Pillager. If it's been volleyball, which we saw the other night, the student sections had bleachers on both sides that were completely full, and parents who were there for both places. So football was an unbelievable game a year ago. And you've said it all. There's nothing else to be said. But these two communities enjoy beating each other athletically more than any two other communities, I think, right now in our coverage map. I just think it is the most heated, most intense, most fun. Like, on top of it all, it's fun. And I tell you what, the other night, Staples-Motley Pillager, there were two kids for volleyball. There were two kids in the Staples-Motley student section who showed up in red suits and had an ESPN banner that they hung, and they had like headsets on. Okay, over in their student section. After the match, they carried that table over to the Pillager student section and interviewed Pillager student section people. And like, there were cameras up. I don't know if they were TikTok or wherever they were posting them. So like, on top of it all, like, there's a little respect between them also. You know what I mean? Like, they kind of love to rib each other like brothers a little bit. But as you know, brothers like to beat the hell out of each other too. So it is, this is just ideal. It's just an ideal game, and that it matters so much to them, like, not only personally, but actually as far as standings and things like that. This is what it's all about.
And by the way, that this game, as we mentioned with Tyler, is going to be it's going to be a prequel to a playoff game that's going to come up in 2 weeks. That'll be a step bigger. So it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. And we're looking forward to it. Superstation K-106 and KNSP The Fan. It's a simulcast tonight because, well, the stage just needs to be a little bit bigger. All right, Corey, over on 101.7 FM and AM920 KWAD and online at WDenaRadio.com/KWAD. We have Region High School football with Wadena-Deer Creek hosting Parker's Prairie. Taking a look at these two teams getting ready to start things out. Wadena-Deer Creek in their final home game of the season, senior night, all that good stuff. The Wolverines are 2-4. They are 1-0 in Section 6 AA play, 1-4 in their conference play, 2-1 on the road, 0-3 on their home field, looking to try and get their first home win of the season tonight. And coming into this one as well for Parker's Prairie, they are back-to-back defending Section 6A champions. They're 5-1. 2-1 in Section 6A with the lone loss coming to Breckenridge a few weeks ago. They are 2-1 on the road, 3-1 on their home field. Again, that one loss was back in week 2, a 21-12 loss in Breckenridge against the Cowboys. They are going to Wadena-Deer Creek tonight, winners of 4 straight. They got a victory over Otter Tail Central a week ago, a big section victory for them to put the Panthers in a good position. This has been a program overall with Coach Johnson and the things that the Parker's Prairie Panthers have done. They just feel like they're in a good spot. There's been a bit of turnover from like a 15 senior class a year ago, which, I mean, just any coach of any level of any program will hate to lose, but they've stepped up. They're at the plate. They're doing what they need to do, and they're 5-1 at this point in the season. Parker's Prairie comes in with a QRF of 49.3, which is ranked 6th in all of Class A. And taking a look at the section in 6A, Corey, we talk about how fascinating Section 6 AA is. Section 6A is right there as well. You have Breckenridge that pretty much is locked up that Section 6A spot. In fact, they're the number 1 team in all of Class A, 63.3 QRF value. Parker's Prairie is a 49.3 QRF. They're in second. At 43.7 is Walker Hackensack Akeley. 40.8 is Otter Tail Central. 32.1 Lake Park Audubon, the 19.2 Nevis, Pine River Bacchus 18.6, and New York Mills at 13.4. New York Mills 1-5 on the campaign. They are going to play Wadena-Deer Creek next week on that MEA Wednesday. But right now, as it would look, if the postseason started today, Parker's Prairie would be hosting Pine River Bacchus and then likely hosting Walker Hackensack Akeley for an opportunity to go to the Fargo Dome and get a rematch with Breckenridge. But overall, just a huge season for Parker's Prairie. Once again, that football program has been rolling, and For Wadena-Deer Creek, they're going to try and see if they can get a win on senior night and see what they can do there. They go to New York Mills on Wednesday night to wrap up the regular season. And for Parker's Prairie, they will host Lake Park Audubon on that MEA Wednesday night to wrap up the regular season as well. For Wadena-Deer Creek, they lost to Frazee a week ago. They're going to see if they can bounce back from that. Talking with Coach Petermeyer, he said they really challenged the team in practice all week. Like, hey, we got to be better. We got to do these things. We got to be ready to roll. And then I talked with him, kind of leading up to this game, and he was like, hey, we feel like we're ready. We feel like the players responded to that message and are in a good spot. Parker's Prairie is an athletic team. They like to run around the football field. They have athletes, and they're going to use them. So they can run, they can pass. They're good balanced attack. We'll see what they can do. Should be a fun one. 6:40 pregame, 7 o'clock kickoff on KWAD. You can find the full broadcast schedule, Corey, online when you go to WDenaradio.com or when you click on Sports Cow on Facebook.
Moo.
Corey, we're going to talk about a volleyball game ahead last night, Park Region Conference, and how Wadena-Deer Creek had a chance to at least clinch a co-share of the Park Region Conference title last night and possibly more. We'll talk about that in just a second, but we also have to talk about the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. Corey, what do we need to know?
Yeah, they announced it earlier in this week. Big news at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Double Point Wednesdays are back in the FunZone Arcade through the end of the year. Not just the end of the month, the end of the year through December 31st. Every Wednesday, FunZone Rewards members can earn double points on all online and in-store FunZone purchases up to $100. Those purchases must be added to a FunZone card, registered to your FunZone Rewards account. That makes sense. That's pretty straightforward. If you're not a FunZone Rewards member, just scan the QR code that you can see right now on our screen as you watch Morning Sports Desk on YouTube. Head to the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade Facebook page, or when you stop in to take advantage of Double Points Wednesdays, you'll see that banner up and about, and you'll be able to scan it there. But it is Double Point Wednesdays in the FunZone Arcade every Wednesday through the end of the year. Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in downtown Wadena.
Okay, Corey. We had a volleyball game last night between Wadena-Deer Creek and Verndale. Coming into this match, Wadena-Deer Creek trying to see if they could stay undefeated in Park Region Conference play. And why that's so important is because with a win, Wadena-Deer Creek would at the very least clinch a co-share of the Park Region Conference title. And with only one game left in PRC play after that next week, they pretty much would put themselves in the driver's seat to win their fourth straight Park Region Conference title. Taking a look at the Park Region Conference standings in just a second, but first, Wadena-Deer Creek came into this game and got a win in set number 1 against Verndale. They were able to get a win in set number 2 as well. 2 very close, hard-fought sets. And then in the final and third set, by the way, the first set 25-18, the second one 25-17, third set 25-11. Where, Wadena-Deer Creek got out to a big lead and then just not quite able to catch up were the Pirates. And sometimes in that third set, Corey, when you're down 2-0 and you start off slow, it just kind of can feel like the wheels fall off. And that just tends to happen to teams in that position. But overall, Wadena-Deer Creek played really, really well in this one. Peyton Gravel came away with 17 kills. She has 50 kills in her last 3 games combined. Pretty good. Kennedy Ness finished with 12 kills. Tori Malik with 4. But looking at the Verndale side of things, Corey, I know you caught a little bit of this match last night as well. It's a really scrappy Verndale Pirate squad. And talking with Coach Dan Johnson before the game, he said, he's like, we are so close. He's like, we are in matches. We are competitive. We are right there. We just have to figure out how to come out and win, how to finish a set. He said there have been times, throughout the year where we're ahead late and we just can't quite find a way to hang on, or we're attempting a comeback and can't just find a way to fully get on top of that mountain. He says they're close. And I asked him, I said, what's going to be the thing, in your eyes? Like, what's the thing that's got to happen? He's like, just confidence. And the more they play, the more experience they get, the better they're going to be in that spot. This was a Verndale team that didn't have a season that they wanted to have a year ago. They've already won more games than they did a year ago, but it's still kind of that thing in high school sports, right? How do you teach a group of young kids how to win a game, how to be confident in your abilities, how to do this? And even though Verndale didn't get the win last night and the third set kind of came off the rails, I thought in those first 2 sets, they did, for the most part, they were competitive, they were scrappy, and they made Wadena-Deer Creek earn it.
Well, and you talked about like just learning how to win. And if you just want to look at the most recent histories from these teams, just going back a season ago, right? Like that's all you have to do is go back a season ago. You think about a Wadena-Deer Creek volleyball team that made it to a section semifinal, was it?
They took the eventual state champions to a 5th set in that match.
That's exactly right. And so that was a team and a bunch of girls. Now, maybe not all of them played significant time, but were a part of a team that had some success and just knew and knows what it feels like to be in big, important moments. And Verndale really struggled a year ago. And so like when you get to those moments when it matters, those first 2 sets in your match last night, CJ, they were close up to like 18 points, right? And then Wadena-Deer Creek just figured out a way to like, they just knew how to pull away at the end when they needed to. And yeah, it's not a fundamentals thing. It's not at this point, it's not a system thing. They know what they're doing, right? There's less than a week left of the regular season. There's maybe 2 dates left in your regular season for both of these teams.
Yep.
So that's not what it's about. It's about believing you can or believing you can't. And I thought that was the difference when I checked in anyway in those first couple sets. And then, like you said, sometimes things just get off the wheels in the 3rd set and life goes on. I don't think you can read too much into that. But I'm excited for both of these teams, I think. I was actually looking, CJ, at the Park Region Conference standings.
Yes, let's talk about that.
Kind of interesting because you talked about Wadena-Deer Creek assures at least a tie of the Park Region Conference Championship. If they can close out with the victory, they would own it outright. But Henning is 5-1. Then Verndale is in that 3rd spot at 3-2. Sebeka, Monaga, Bertha Hewitt, Pillager, New York Mills rounds out the Park Region Conference standings. I don't know if what's interesting. Have you looked at them or have you seen them? Are you aware of where I'm going to go with this conversation?
No, please finish your thought.
QRF values. Now, this is nothing to do with conference standings, right? It is about win-loss record within the conference. But just kind of something interesting to point out. Wadena-Deer Creek, 97.6 QRF value. Henning's number 2 in the conference with a 79.1. Verndale's number 3 in the conference with a 46.1. And then there's those pesky Sebeka Trojans who are tied for 4th in the conference, but actually own the 2nd highest QRF in the conference at 87.7.
Uh-huh.
Fascinating, isn't that?
Fascinating. These teams know a lot. It's the same thing, divisional rivalries in football. These teams just know a lot about each other. How can this last place team in the division beat the first place team? Because they know, they just have played them so many times. It's fascinating.
Pillager, 2-4. They're tied for 2nd to last in the conference. They have the 3rd highest QRF at 62.9.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Crazy. So this conference is as competitive as it's always been, top to bottom.
Exactly. It's why we love the Park Region Conference here on the Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. So yeah, Wadena-Deer Creek has a matchup against New York Mills next week. If Wadena-Deer Creek wins that one, they will win the Park Region Conference outright. It would be their 4th straight PRC title. That is in New York Mills on Tuesday night. Henning is 5-1 with their lone loss to Wadena-Deer Creek. And they got a win last night over Sebeka to get that one. If Sebeka would have beaten Henning, then Wadena-Deer Creek would have already claimed the conference at that point. But now Wadena-Deer Creek has a chance in New York Mills to get that and clinch their 4th straight PRC crown. So a lot of things happening here as we get ready. Corey, we are less than 2 weeks away from that kind of, I know the pigtail games start on Monday, but that, Wednesday of not next week, but the week after is when we're in the thick of things for high school volleyball playoffs, and we go off and running. And then of course the night before would be playoff football. We basically spend all fall sports season telling you how it's not that far away, playoffs, because it's true. Playoffs are less than 2 weeks away.
We're in it, man. It's the best. It's the best.
We are ready to go. Every team has got a couple games for Verndale. They're going to finish up their season. They play LaPorte, which is the team right above them in the 5A West standings. And that could be important because if Verndale could get a victory there and get the head-to-head, they could potentially host LaPorte instead of having to go to LaPorte in that first round matchup, which I think any team will tell you want a home game in that first round of the playoffs.
And that section's wide open.
Section's wide open. Every single coach in section 5A that I've talked to says, hey, there's good teams at the top of the section. Swanville's having a good year. Nevis is having a good year. Sabika's the defending champs. Pine River Bacchus is always in the mix. Bertha Hewitt's there. Verndale's there. There's some other teams you could draw in that mix. So there is a lot of teams that are there.
Yeah, it's not coach speak this year.
No, there's a lot of teams that just feel like if they're playing their right volleyball, they're going to be in the mix.
And they're correct.
Mm-hmm. So it's fun. It's why we love the playoff season. If everything went to chalk, then there'd be no point of the playoffs. You know what I mean? Boring. Not. So that's your thing. Taking a look at state sports here, Corey, as we wrap. Actually, we have one thing we do need to talk about as long as we're staying in volleyball. Let's move from the Park region, Corey, to the Heart O Lakes and see what's happening here. An update last night as Staples-Motley got a victory over Pelican Rapids last night. And not only that, they were able to highlight one of their, I believe she's a senior on the squad, Corey, getting her 500th career dig. Izzy Becker reached it and was honored before their match yesterday against Pelican Rapids.
Yeah, she's an awesome player, libero for the Cardinals and has been for a couple of years now. She actually got it over, I believe, the weekend.
Sure.
But their first match back was in Park Rapids. So if you listen to that game in Park Rapids on the Fan on Tuesday night, we made that announcement during the broadcast. But now they finally got to get home, and Izzy got to celebrate with her team and fans and classmates and friends, which was very cool. She's an excellent libero. And then on top of it, she's a bit of an offensive threat. She had in a match, my stats are always very unofficial, but had, I think, 4 kills from her libero spot, which is just like, I don't think I've ever seen that many from a libero. And they're not like accidental kills either. They're like on purpose. They'll set to her.
Right.
So congratulations, Izzy. She's awesome. It's nice to reach. We talk about this all the time. It's nice to reach those milestone numbers. Being at 499 would not make her less of a player, but getting 500 kind of confirms how good of a player she is. So keep it up, Izzy. It's been fun to watch you this season, and we look forward to a little playoff run now, as I think will be our next Cardinal volleyball coverage.
Exactly. So congratulations to her. Corey, let's wrap things up now by talking about our state sports here. And hey, big Wild guys here. They get a 5-0 victory last night. They're 1-0 on the season. Let's raise the Stanley Cup and we're done.
And they can't stop and they won't stop. Miley Cyrus's song is about the Minnesota Wild. All aboard the Gus bus in the 25-26 Minnesota Wild season.
Exactly. There you go. Congratulations to them. And as we keep rolling here, the Minnesota Vikings are on bye week this upcoming Sunday. Corey, what do you like to do on a bye week? Do you still watch football? Do you kind of use it as a get out of jail kind of week where you just you give your wife a pass to go do whatever you want to do on a Sunday? What's the Tackmann household look like on a Vikings bye week?
It looks like it did a few weeks ago. Like, we'll go, maybe this is the weekend to go find an apple orchard. It's like fall season stuff now. I've been promising myself for like 3 weeks that I would clean the garage out. So maybe this is the weekend I do that. So I can park in the garage again. Maybe that's it. It's all very boring, right? Like the leaves are starting to fall. So I probably need to start either that rake or mulch process. Will I watch football? Yes. It's going to be way more of a passive watch. It'll probably be, if I watch a game, it'll probably be the Sunday night game.
Yep.
Is where that will. Cause I don't know. I've said this before, CJ. I like football. I like sports. I don't care about any other people's teams. It's just not it is of no concern to me.
What about your fantasy team?
The dumbest thing that has ever existed is fantasy football. I just hate it. I just hate it so much. And I wish I'm in one league. I think I told you before the season started, I was in no leagues for the first time ever.
Mm-hmm.
The Wednesday before, we're like, we got to do a draft tonight to get this league started. Like, you guys suck. I hate this.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be, I just don't care. I don't care. Like, it's not, I like bye weeks because I just get the day off from it, you know?
Exactly. You get a little bit of a pass. So for me, we have to go to a wedding in Fargo over the weekend, which means that we're going to, stay up at the brother-in-law's place, and he'll let us kind of shack up there for the night, so we don't have to spend a hotel room, which is clutch. And then we'll just kind of do whatever on Sunday and slowly meander our way back home after that. So yeah, it's kind of a good week to have no plans and just kind of not have to be like, oh, I got to make sure that I'm watching the football game, or I'm listening on the radio, or I'm paying attention. I can just kind of need to do.
Are the Fighting Buffaloes in town, or is it going to be a quiet weekend in that town too?
Quiet weekend. They're in Indiana State, and Larry Bird's alma mater, the Sycamores.
Great name.
Great name.
Great nickname.
Great nickname. Bad football team.
Real bad football team.
Larry Bird went there. They're a basketball school.
But are they?
In their neck of the woods, yes.
They were.
When Larry Bird was playing.
It's Indiana, so it's basketball first there. Is anybody ever come out of Indiana
State this year though?
Well, right. Has anybody ever come out of Indiana State in football?
Probably. What do Indiana State football pros? Let's see what we got here.
There's a Facebook page.
There is here we go. From 95 to 2000, center guard John Bach. Dan Brandenburg, who was a linebacker from 97 to 99.
There's only one name I care on this list.
Let's see. What do we got?
Two names. Down at the very bottom, are you on the Pro Football page?
Vikings legend Robert Tonyan.
Robert Tonyan is there. Oh, Vency Glenn is on there. That's fun. No, but look at just down from Vency, a couple spots. Tunch Ilkin. That's the name that matters to me.
What are you ilkin for?
Tunch Ilkin.
I'm ilkin for a tunch. Sounds like something that's said at an English soccer match. That makes me go, thank goodness we got our independence.
Philadelphia's got the tush push, and the Pittsburgh Steelers drafted the tunch punch.
That's what, honestly, I know everybody says the peanut punch for Charles Tillman because he would always punch the ball out as a DB, but I think Tunch needs to take it over. Sorry, Charles.
I like Tunch Ilkin, all-time name there. That's fun.
All-time name, and of course he played for the Steelers because of course.
And Wadena-Deer Creek's Leo Petrowski's uncle, Jamie Petrowski.
Yes, is that a fact?
No, I don't know. It's not a fact.
Are we sure? Should we call him?
It's not a fact.
You got me there.
But it's not a fact.
Let's see.
Let's find out.
Let's find out. He's 43 years old. He was born on July 12th, 1982 in Terre Haute, Indiana.
Terre Haute, nice. Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think this time. Could be. Can we get Leo Petrowski Petrowski jersey
of him, like a Sycamores one?
Of a Sycamores Petrowski jersey. Can we set that up somehow?
We can. It might involve us spending American currency, but
Leo, you're on your own. You're gonna have to ask for Christmas, I think.
Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch every show on YouTube.